G'day, welcome to Game Online. I'm Gregor Mactaggart. Alongside me, the Mr Football of Darwin, Graham Morris. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Gregor.
We're talking footy this week. It's all happening, as Bill Laurie would say. I suppose the major talking point has to be the story that you revealed exclusively on Monday. The AFL have taken an $8 million punt on NT. Tell us about that.
Yeah, they're going to play 10 premiership matches here in the next 5 years. 2 each year, of course, that adds up to. It's a huge news for Aussie rules up here in Darwin.
Who's playing? Who are we going to get up here?
First game next year will be Melbourne and Port Adelaide, as revealed in the Northern Territory News as early as June this year. The next game, of course, will be Port Adelaide and the Doggies in June.
And it seems like Alice Springs has got some games as well, which is good news.
Yes, Alice Springs will get some NAB Cup games, and I'm sure they'll be happy about that. And I reckon the fair bet will be the Richmond Tigers.
Okay, there's one for you. All right, stay tuned there. I suppose we've got to take a look at round 3 of the NTFL season. A good round, a couple of upsets. The first one probably at Bathurst Island on Saturday. The Tiwi Bombers thumped Waratahs by 87 points.
Well, most of the experts went for Waratahs, but this man here picked the Tiwi Bombers.
I thought you were an expert.
I just figured that over there it was hot, and the boys from the south found it very, very hot, as we found out. And of course, the Tiwi won, I think, by 87 points. Very
interesting to see one E. Darcy in the side. Obviously, him coming back, it was good news.
Yes, I had a quick yarn to Shane Tipio-Mantamiri, who was playing his second game for the year. He said that Eddie Darcy, Rupert Papangamiri, these type of fellas really lifted the Bombers.
Okay, Saturday, Palmerston 31-point winners over St Mary's. Underman St Mary's, I think we all tipped that one.
Yes, an undermanned Magpie side too, as I was told by the Magpie hierarchy after the game. They weren't too happy that all the headlines were talking about an undermanned St Mary's, when in fact they've got about 8 players out themselves.
All right, well, I wonder who the 8 are, but Wanderers came from the clear, second week in a row to beat Northcliffe by 2 points. You saw that one?
Yes, they performed an Houdini act again. They were gone for all money, 34 points down, I think it was at one stage. But all of a sudden the game changed. About halfway through the third quarter, some of those recruits from Northcliffe started going down with a cramp, and after that it was the speedy, pacey Wanderers boys.
I had to take note. You gave Lane Patrick a big rap on in Monday's paper.
Gregor, this kid can play football. I've spoken to some recruiting officers from AFL clubs and told them as much. One was G. Buckenara from Hawthorn, the other was B. Prendergast from Melbourne. So hopefully they've taken it on board, because he can play, and as I wrote in the paper Monday, every bit as good as Liam Jarrah.
Okay, well that's good. I know Andrew was a big rap for him before he came to the NTFL, so it's great to see. And the last game on Sunday, Southern Districts beat Darwin by 29 points. I saw that one. Darwin were pretty good, the young buffs. They led it half time and just faded out that third quarter, which sort of cost them in the end. But learning experience, Southern District okay. The two new recruits from, I was going to say Northcliffe, but Labrador down on the Gold Coast. Yeah, McGinniskin 7 and Sleep 5, that was the difference. So pretty good win for Districts. All right, well, what do we got? Round 4.
Yeah, I suppose that leads us into round 4, Gregor, and we've got a big one starting that off, the Tiwi Bombers and Palmerston.
Yeah, it should be a good game, shouldn't it? I mean, obviously the Bombers hit form last week, and the Maggies unbeaten. What do you reckon?
Well, I talked to the Palmerston lads last night. Actually, I was out there watching them train, and I mentioned to the coach Russell Jeffrey the last time these two sides met, the Tiwi Bombers won by a lazy 140 points. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of revenge in the mind of the Maggies.
Yeah, I'd have to go to the Maggies, but winning form is good form, so I'll go with them.
I'm actually going to stick with the Bombers for the upset. I think they've got the little roll on there, the Bombers, and when the Bombers roll, they roll.
All right. Waratahs, they got Wanderers. Another good game, I think 5 p.m. On Saturday. The Tars, well, they need to hit back, don't they?
Well, I need to hit back hard, Gregor, but they're up against a Wanderers side that is rolling along, as I just mentioned with the Bombers. They're flying themselves, the Eagles. I've got this guy, as we mentioned, Liam Patrick, can do anything. And they've got other players in form too, so, it's going to be a tough ask for Tars.
All right. Southern Districts, on the back of 2 wins on the trot, take on St Mary's, who are on a bit of a run of their own.
Yes, staring at a very rare third loss in a row is a Green Machine, and I'm sure there'll be some pretty tough work done on the track this week. The main secret of them, of course, is getting their guns back, like Peter McFarlane, I know, will play this week after missing a week with a sore shoulder. He'll be back, but I think he's the only one, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they go.
Okay, and we wrap up on Sunday, Northcliffe and Darwin. Clutch of the winless side. Somebody's got to win, but
Place of the winless side, and the great R. Campbell plays his 200th game for Northcliffe, so all the best there to Robbie Campbell.
Well, the Tigers, you'd think they'd have to get up for him, wouldn't they? Were they better last week, Northcliffe? I mean, I've been critical of them. Were they better?
You have knocked them a little bit. I watched them, as I said, for the first 2.5 quarters, Gregor. It looked like how far Northcliffe, but as I said, the cramp come in. But see, these guys flew in at, I think, 11:30 in the morning, played football at 6 o'clock at night, and then jumped on a plane and went back to Adelaide.
Tough ask,
I'm sure they might do things a bit different this week. And of course, the game is at Northcliffe Oval, isn't it?
It certainly is. 4 p.m. start, so get out there if you want to watch some footy on a Sunday afternoon. And that'll do us for Game ONline this week. We'll see you next time.